Hey guys, Mogcake here. Hope you guys have been doing well. I know I had a long weekend, very busy weekend and tiring one, so I haven't been able to quite be like perfectly diligent in this event, but I have done pretty well, I guess. And the reason for that is because I've been basically doing Dwarves Forge and Miranda Coast over and over and over. Um, and you've probably discovered by now that those are the best places to explore to get the ingredients. I mean, from one clear, you can do more than a premium recipe each time. So, for this video, since everybody probably knows that by now, I just wanted to talk about some of the things I've learned, and I'm sure some of this will be same old for you guys, but maybe a couple things here and there will be new. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the recipe situation. Now, I apologize. In the beginning, I kind of made the same mistake as other people did of buying the premium recipe as well as the rare. Turns out, of course, that you only need the premium. You only need one recipe and you can do it multiple times. There's no limitation on that. And I should have known that because it's exactly like every other recipe in the game. So, I pretty much just do premium every time. I don't bother with the other ones because this has longer duration. I mean, it costs less. Like, it's more efficient ingredient wise. And I always have enough to do them all. So, or almost always. There were a couple times in the weekend when I just didn't have the time to explore like that. But, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys have figured that out by now. But, pretty much premium is the only thing that you need. In case I don't have enough time to farm everything I wanted, I think for my alternate account, my top priorities are going to be the summon tickets, and then the stuff like Lunar Pestle, which are kind of exclusive items. I might not bother with the Trust Mogul and mini, I forgot what it's called, Burst Pot or something like that, if I don't have the time or the materials to do it. I hope I do, but honestly, I mean, that does save time. It's very convenient and it's very nice to have, but it's not something that's like super exclusive like the other stuff is. So I don't know. I might end up getting it all, but just in case I can't, I'm prioritizing the other stuff first. Anyway, on to the maps. I just wanted to share some of my experience with it. Now, I'm sure you've noticed by now, most of you have, that Dwarves Forge is really good for Fire Mega Chris, along with other stuff like Earth and Lightning even. But it's good for Fire Mega Chris, and Miranda Coast is good for Ice Mega Chris, and of course those are the two that we need for Heroes Ring. So, along with getting ingredients for the Mogcakes, you should really be just getting tons and tons of Mega Chris for the Heroes Rings. So I probably had like 3 or 4 going throughout the event duration. So anyway, I wanted to just go through and show you each of these exploration maps. Can't talk right now, I'm really tired. But you want to bring a pretty decent team. You don't want to bring a bunch of scrubs, but you also, maybe 2 characters that need leveling because their experience is going to be good. Now, I'm not going to completely clear these maps, obviously, because the video would just be too long. So I'll just show you kind of the routes straight to the resources, but excuse me. But I will explain how to most efficiently farm it if you do have the time. So yeah, so it's split up into 2 zones, and for this map it's split up right and left. Here's the first resource thing here. In the first zone, you want to kind of keep farming enemies until you get to around 2900 gil, and that will mean that you've pretty much maxed out the area and you can't really get any more. Each fight gives you, like basically 100 gil per enemy. Again, I said Ice Mega Crystal would be pretty common, along with water, but water is really not that valuable at the moment. And you can check how much gil you're at with the menu button down here. I'm at 418 right now. So if I wanted to, and if I had the time, I would keep walking back and forth in this area until I got to 2900 before I moved on to the next area. I'm actually running into a lot of enemies right now. I apologize for my voice. I've been battling with a cold. So there's a second resource spot. Now, this is where you would leave the first zone. Again, ideally at 2900 gil if you have the time. Otherwise, you just move on to the next, and this is zone 2. And from zone 2, assuming you got the 2900 gil, you would want to stay in this area until you got to about 7300 gil to completely max out the area. And that's including like the boss and everything, of course. So, yeah, so I'm just showing where the resources are. You would clear it differently if you're trying to go for the experience and max materials, I should say, because you know you can get over 400 fine flour and other stuff if you're diligent enough. As you can see, each fine flour that's dropped is 25. If you go to some of the earlier maps, it's like 16, 12, keeps going down the easier the map gets. So, you know, this map and the Dwarves Forge is by far the best because you get 25 each. But there are reasons to farm the other places, as I'll show you or as I'll mention later. It's funny because when I actually want to meet enemies, they take a while, but in this video they're just coming at every 3 steps. Hope you guys don't mind. And of course I'm going to the resources only, but if you were doing this map for the first time, you would want to get all the treasures. You know, you can look it up on the wiki. This boss can be hard if you bring too weak of a party, which is why I say to, you know, bring a couple of maxed out characters. Don't try to be overly greedy with the experience and bring a bunch of scrubs. Of course, I'm probably overdoing it here because this friend is really strong. Dual wield, obviously. I'm gonna have to listen back to this video, see if I sound too terrible to upload it. Continue, of course, because there's another one up here. Oh my gosh, seriously, it's like I never meet this many enemies this quickly. Except when I don't want to. Okay, I'm just curious what I'm at right now, 1900. Yeah, so I'm not even close to clearing out everything. Alright, so here's the last one. And then when you're satisfied, you got the 7300 gil or whatever, you know, leave. So that's Maranda Coast. Again, the first zone is 2900 gil about, if you want to get all the maximum materials and experience. And then after you get that, the second zone, you would go up to 7300, and that's after the boss. Now, let's go to Dwarves Forge. This is where you would hope to get your fire mega crysts and stuff like that. I've been using Chizuru friends like non-stop because it's just really handy for auto battling. She obviously has a good auto attack and barrage. Alright, so here, the first zone, this map is split into 2 zones also, but it's split up vertically. So the bottom half is going to be zone 1, and you want to get up to about 3200. Just regular Chris, no mega Chris there. You would want to get up to 3200 gil, and this is still zone 1. It still counts. So I'll tell you when I get to zone 2. This is all zone 1. And the weird thing about this map is that I think that there are certain places where you can't meet enemies, like the red zones with oh, I got fire, mega Chris, and lightning. Like the red places where the dwarves are standing. I don't know if it's like too hot for the enemies or whatever, but you tend to not meet them there. But these kind of normal stone-looking places, you can definitely meet enemies here. So first zone, 3200 gil. If you want everything maxed out. And I don't know for sure if this is like the optimal route for the resources, but this is just what I take. I'm pretty sure it's optimal. I mean, unless I'm just totally off with directions, which is possible. Alright, so I've gotten 2 so far. Third one's gonna be right up here. Actually, this is the end of zone 1, so let me just show you guys a little thing that I do. Not a terribly important detail, but I don't know, for me it was just made my life a little bit easier. So this area has a lot of annoying little cracks and stuff in the ground. You have to kind of work your way around it. So what I do is I go up to here, right under this crack, and if I'm trying to farm this area and meet a lot of enemies, I just swipe down really quickly, just swipe down once. And if I would stop running into enemies every 2 steps for this video, you would see that if you swipe in just kind of one quick motion, he will automatically walk all the way down until he can't walk anymore. And then you can just swipe back up the same way. So it's just an easy way to, not have to keep circling around with your finger. So swipe down once, he'll go all the way down until he hits that wall. And swipe up. And yeah, he'll just stop when he hits that thing there. So this is the end of zone 1. By now you should have around 3,200 gil. Again, I don't always do that, just so you know, because I don't have the time. But so we're in zone 2 now. In zone 2, if you got that 3,200, you would go all the way up to about 7,800 plus to maximize everything. All right, so the next resource thing is over here. And same little deal here. If you want to do that little swiping trick, just go to the corner up here, swipe down. It's a little shorter route, but there's so many cracks on this floor, it's kind of annoying. Alright, so I go up here, fight the boss. Oops. Yeah. My voice must sound terrible. I have a big frog in my throat. And as you've guessed, they're going to ask me if I want to continue or leave. And of course I'm going to continue, because it always turns out that way. Continue, and then I'm going to go left here for the last resource spot. Earth Mega Crystal. I got a lot of Earth Mega Crystal in here. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of them. So anyway, by this point you would have 7,800 gil. I think it's closer to like 7,888 gil if you wanted to really max it out. But anyway, yes, I want to leave the map. And that's the Dwarves Forge, and pretty much just these 2 maps will be very efficient for you, and you should be able to make, at least a couple heroes rings from it. And again, I mean, if you are diligent, you can get like over 400 fine powder flour each time. I'm just blowing through to show you guys. One last map I wanted to show you is based on the fact that, at least for me, I'm not able to make a lot of the HP plus 15%, even though I have like the rare materials, because I don't have things like light Mega Cris. So one good place to get that is in Colobos Isle here, in Golzas Canyon. It's 13 energy, so it's not as efficient as the other places I showed you. I mean, you only get like 16 flour per drop here, but it does have a pretty good light Mega Cris drop rate, and you can sometimes get fire as well. So that's just something to consider if you want to just kind of like you're like a couple away and you want to hurry up and make the recipe. Otherwise, I just recommend doing this after the event's over and just focus on the other two areas. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys, and hope that was helpful. I apologize again if you guys wasted some lappies on the rare Mogcake boxes, as I did. I think early on there was a little bit of confusion. I mean, this isn't an event that Japan had, I believe. I think this is a global exclusive, so we were kind of learning along the way. But hopefully, you guys are having good luck with this. I did expand to 3 slots here. I mean, I probably could go for a fourth and make good use of it, but I'm just not willing to invest that much, I guess. But it's definitely up to you on how much you value all those prizes. So I hope that was helpful. Good luck, you guys, and we have a long ways to go, but just keep up with all your farming. It's gonna get tedious at times. I mean, I'm pretty ahead, so even if I have a couple of lazy days, I could still keep my recipes going. But yeah, that's the way to do it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.